Hi everyone, welcome back to another love story, part 8. We left it in a very awkward place with John and Jum, and they just had a nice meal in her condo, and Jum announced out of the blue that she misses sex. John was just he's speechless. Anyway, sort of immediately after that conversation, Jum said, "Shall we call it a night?" She said, uh, "Tomorrow night, let's go for a seafood restaurant." John sort of, you know, oh, okay, yeah, good, brilliant. He said, "Where should we meet?" And she said, "Can you find this condo?" He said, "Yeah, I think I can find it, no problem." She said, "Well, come here for 6:30, and then we'll go on the bikes to a seafood restaurant I know in Jomtien." She obviously doesn't like going to Central Pattaya. I said, "Yep, great, okay, thanks very much." And so gets his jacket or whatever, his stuff, heads to the door, and as she opens the door and he steps out and turns around, and at that moment she leans forward, kisses him on the cheek, says, "Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Good night." Close the door. Anyway, back to his empty bungalow. Next day, his friend in Pattaya rings him first thing in the morning. Said, "Look, I've got a girl. It's a friend of a friend of a friend. She works in a department store in the daytime, and they don't pay very well. She's on about 10,000 baht a month, but she's working like 50 hours, and wanted to know what you would pay her for a month, and how many days work and how many hours." So John had to think about this, and he said, "Right, it's got to be 500 baht. Everyone's told me it's 500 baht a day for a cleaner, and 3 days a week is good, so 1,500 baht a week, so it's 6,000 a month." And then his friend said, "Well, do you think you could pay a little bit more, because she would have to give up a 10,000 baht a month job? Maybe you could just give her more work and boost the money to help her out. She's a lovely girl. She's only about 35, and she's a single girl, and she doesn't live far from you." John says, "Okay, all right, I suppose she could do 4 days a week. That's 8,000 baht a month. Would that be enough?" He was paying the other girl 4,000 baht a week. And the guy said, "Can you bump it to the 10 a month? Just maybe get her to work 5 days a week and less hours." John's like, "Well, yes, not worried about the money, and if she's good." He said, "Okay." We said, "Get her to come and try out first after work for a couple of evenings, or has she got days off?" And his friend said, "I'll get in touch. Let me ring her, come back to you." 15 minutes later, comes back. She's got some holidays. She can have 3 days off. So she's going to take the 3 days off. She can't come tomorrow. She'll come the day after. She'll get 3 days off. Try her out for 3 days, and see how you get on. So John's like, "Yeah, cool. Okay, thank you so much." And his friend gave the girl John's address, and we call this girl Triple Z, and give her the address and everything. Right, all good. Anyway, so John heads off for a walk on Jomtien Beach. He's a bit later than normal, and he doesn't see Jum on that walk. He's wandering up and down thinking about life, and starts thinking about Jum and how Jum is just really lovely. But then he's starting to think about the sex. She's 43, he's 68. And he's like, "Oh, will it ruin our friendship?" And he's like, "Oh, I don't know what to do." Later on, it's time off he goes on his bike. He's getting quite good on his bike now, so he's feeling confident running around. Oh, the tea tastes so much better here in England. And yeah, he 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 heads off on the bike, gets to her condo, rings the bell as she comes down, and she gets her bike out. Obviously feels comfortable, one-on-one, bike on, one person on each bike. And they zip off a couple of kilometres, nice seafood restaurant, have a great night, lovely food, and they're just having a laugh. Now, maybe it's about 8:30, 9 o'clock, Jim says to John, I was having to think about last night, what I said and everything, and how comfortable I am with you. She says, but I'm not really wanting to rush into sex. But however, how would you feel about coming back to my place and staying and we just cuddle for the night and just see how we get on sleeping together in the same bed? And again, John's like, what's this all about? Is this normal? And he hasn't been in the dating game, since his partner died. He's not really, apart from that soapy massage, he hasn't been in. He's like, well, okay. He says, yeah, okay. He said, but I need to go about 8:30. I've got a new cleaner coming along to try out. And Jim said, brilliant, come on then. And they headed back to the condo. Now, Jim likes a little bit of wine, I think, and John likes a beer, and she's got some beer in his fridge, so they have a couple of drinks and just chill. Jumped in that now. John says, I haven't got any nightwear. And Jim's like, well, I've got pyjamas. I'm okay, but I don't think they'll fit you, my other pairs of pyjamas. Just sleep in your shorts, in your boxer shorts. So, okay. Anyway, they jump into bed and have a cuddle. And Jim's put some music on and they just sleep. Nothing happens. Morning, he gets up. She makes him orange juice or coffee, and it was lovely. She says it was really nice. She said it was very strange but really nice. Are you doing anything tonight? And he says, no, I don't have any plans for the next 20 years. Joking. And she sort of laughs. And she's like, come on back round. Just turn up about 7, half 7. She said, I'll do a bit of food for us, so don't eat. And let's see how we get on. He said, should I bring my pyjamas? And she's like, why not? Okay. Off he goes. Home. About 10 o'clock, Triple Z, the new girl, turns up. And she's about 35. Knocks on the door, speaks great English. Really, really good English. She's about 35. This is like, wow. And she is absolutely stunning to look at. Absolutely. I mean, drop dead gorgeous. And John's sort of taken back a bit. He's like, wow. Oh, she is beautiful. Anyway, starts chatting away to her, and she's really chatty and friendly. And he says, have you ever done sort of cleaning and housekeeping? She says, a little bit, bits and pieces. I said, well, it's not a big place. It's washing, ironing, clean the place, chill, really. It's not, my friend said, you want a bit more work to get the money up. He said, but I'm not sure what you would be able to do all day long here, working sort of 4 or 5 days a week. And she's like, well, let's see how we get on. She says, I'll just see what we need, if we need anything for cleaning and stuff. And started asking questions where to get the laundry done and all the rest of it. And they chatted for a bit, and she just she just carried on. And then he just carried on himself. And he's like, He said, I'm off for a walk. He said, so I've got a spare set of keys here. I'm going to give you a key to the door if you need to go out. He said, do you need anything? She said, I need some bits and pieces. He said, well, there's some money. She's got a bike, scooter. He said, I'm going out. I'll be back later and help yourself to everything. Help yourself. It's not the thing you tell a new employee. Off he went, did his walk, saw Jum. She's just smiling, see you later. He come back. Triple Z's doing fine. He's like, everything all right? Yeah, brilliant. He said, I'm going off to the pub to see my friends. It's like lunchtime. He said, do you want to finish about 2ish? And she said, okay, great. He said, just lock the door when you go if I'm not back. He said, I'll see you tomorrow morning. She said, okay. She only come about 10. She's done about 4 hours work. And he never said the next day what time, so off he went to the pub, saw the lads, told the lads how his love life's going, but he didn't tell them he stayed over at her house, Jum's house. He's not getting ripped again. And it's just like normal. Goes home, blah, 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 and yep. Evening comes, gets his pyjamas, puts a clean set of underwear and puts a little bag, rides off, Jums, they have a lovely night, he stays the night, cuddling again. And it's like, yeah, really nice cuddling, and he's wondering who makes the first step and what to do. Anyway, he doesn't need to worry about that because Jum has already obviously planned and decided exactly how this is going to go. And let's just say, she didn't say a lot, but she reverted to the dentistry, to the oral extraction route, straight into that, made him finish, gave him a kiss on the cheek, rolled over and went to sleep. And he's like, what? Oh my God. The morning, usual breakfast and stuff. And he says, I didn't know what to do last night. He said after she goes, oh, it was fabulous, she said. Absolutely. She said, oh, that was great. I absolutely loved it. And he said, but I didn't do anything. And she said, okay, don't worry. In time. She said, I had a great time. And she says, tonight? And he's like, let me give you some money for the food and stuff, and or get some shopping or something for. And she's like, no, don't worry. Absolutely don't worry. He said, is there something I can do? She goes, no. Just be you and turn up tonight again. Now, he gets home. Triple Z's there. And she's brilliant. So he says to her, look, okay, I'll give you a full-time job. Let's set the hours. Let's set the money. I'll pay you 10,000 baht a month that you need. Let's do 4 days. That's all you need to do here with my stuff. And at the moment, I'm, start at, say, 10 and finish at 4. And do 4 days. And pick your days. Just let me know. You've got a key. Are you happy with that? And she's like, yeah, fabulous. Thank you. She said, I'll do Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. And he said, okay, that's fine. She's got a key. He said, let me give you some money for yesterday and today. And then you start Monday. Is that all right? She said, fabulous. So he gives her some money. And brilliant. He just can't believe she's absolutely stunning. And then it's sort of, this is getting into a bit of a strange routine. He's off back to Jum's evening, as he's walking all the rest of it. Sees the boys. He's getting into it like walk morning, drink afternoon, Jum in the evening, dentist. And for the next 4 or 5 days, it happens exactly the same. And then he's like, this just isn't right. I'm not getting to touch Jum or anything. So the one evening, she starts again. They're in bed, and she comes. At this point, he decides to interact more, and just general touching and feely and all the rest of it. And to his alarm, when he was moving his hands around Jum's lower part of the body, actually, no, let's leave it there. I'll tell you on the next one. Ta-da for now. Bye-bye.